Hello and welcome to LOAH Light on a Hill and LOAH Live. I am Theresa Lyons-Smith, the founder and director, and I am excited for you to be joining us for segment 2 of our series, There is a Sound. Are you the sound or just noise? We are joined today by this amazing man. He is not just a husband, a father, a brother. He is also a minister. He is also the founder of an educational business called Gut Check. And I'm telling you, you want some life-changing and just empowering information that changes your mind and just the very way that you think and see things, you want to check out Gut Check, and he's going to tell us some more about that. And this person that we are talking to, who is joining us today, who's going to give us share with us just a portion of the wealth of wisdom that is all up on the inside of him, is Minister Rahman Carter. We are so excited to be able to sit here and have you join us today. This is segment 2 of our series, and I can't think of too many people who I know just have the sound that we need for this season and for this time. And so one of the things that we have been talking about, just a beginning thought, if you will, is the difference between sound and noise. And sound, as we've said and shared in our previous segment, sound is intentional, it's purposed, it's focused, it is destined, it is considerate. Sound is aware of the space that it needs to fill. Sound is aware of the effect and it has a result, versus noise, which is all of the opposite of those things. Noise, although it has intentions, it is not intentional. Noise is disruptive, it's invasive, it's distractive, it's inconsiderate. And you are very aware of the time that we are living in right now, all of the noise that we are facing. And as I stated, you are the founder of a phenomenal organization called Gut Check.
Yes.
And I don't think it is accident that this is the season that Gut Check it is just taking off like a rocket. I don't think that's a coincidence that is happening in this time when we're facing so much noise. And so I'm just going to turn it over to you, and you can tell us what you want to share about Gut Check, and share with us how you see it being pivotal and effective and influential even in these times.
Yeah, I want to start off by saying, what's good? It's definitely an honor and a privilege to be here with you today. I've been watching the LOAH work, and it has been amazing, and I feel honored to be invited here today to speak with you. When you talked about noise versus sound, and you talked about the role that Gut Check plays in this season. And noise is despair, noise is discontentment, noise is unhappiness, noise is mediocrity, noise is unproductivity, right? And sound is abundance, sound is joy, sound is peace, sound is a life in which you feel enriched, a life in which you enrich the lives of others. And that is the main focus of Gut Check. Gut Check is an education company that helps people discover their authentic identity. Their authentic identity is defined as who they were created to be, divinely created to be. And all those noises are an indication of misalignment. And so what Gut Check does is it wants to realign you with who the Creator called you to be. Because when you live a life according to who you were called to be, then that noise starts to dissipate, right? And that sound starts to rise.
Yes.
And that joy starts to be released from you. That abundance starts to be released from you. The add value to other people starts to be released from you. And that's our mission. That's our mission, for people to add value by being their authentic selves.
Wow. And that is what is so phenomenal about Gut Check. I have not missed any one of your sessions, and I share it because it's just like you said, it adds life, it adds value. And what it does for me is I have never listened to one of your segments of Gut Check and not felt the need to check my mindset, check where I'm at, check where I'm thinking, whether it's, for just that day and that space and time that I'm in, or whether it's thinking towards something that I want to do, or is it something that I should be. It is valuable in that it checks your gut, that inner part of you that is what changes us, what changes our minds. You know what I mean? What gives you different outlooks. And when you think of outlook, you think of how a person sees themselves, and we relate that to identity. And I believe that one of the issues, that is a contributor to the noise is that so many of us don't know our identity.
Yeah.
We really don't understand who we are, what we are, why we are. One of the things that we say in LOAH is that purpose is not just what you have. It's not just what you do. Purpose is who we are. What would you say to the identity crisis?
Yeah. It's uncanny that you would say that, because one of the 4 pillars of Gut Check is inspiration. Inspiration deals directly with self-image. The first thing Gut Check does is it puts you in a space of understanding who you are, that you were created by the same hand that created the universe, the infinity of the universe, and the same hand that causes plants to grow, the same hand that put the stars and the moon and the sun in alignment is the same hand that created you and I, which denotes purpose, which denotes destiny.
Yes.
You're not just born to die. So people need to understand that they have a specific purpose, a specific destiny. Ants do what they do, birds do what they do, and we do what we do, but we have to get past our intellect, because we're the only species that has an intellect, the ability to create our own world, even if we're creating a world that we're not meant to live in. And so once we understand that we have the creative power to do so, we have to tap into the infinity that's inside of us and understand that we have greatness on the inside of us. Greatness defined by what you were called to do. Some people are track racers, right? They run races. Some people are bakers. Some people are speakers. But each and every one of us are to do it with purpose, and to do it with destiny on the mind, and to do it with the mind towards service and adding value to the next person. So understanding who you are is very important. And understanding that you come from great stock. You come from great stock. You were created for greatness.
So you said understanding, the value and adding value to the next person, right? So speaking specifically to one of the crises that we are facing, and when I say we, I don't just mean any particular race. I mean humanity as a whole. Somewhere along the line, we have forgotten, key things like compassion and empathy and sympathy and service, right? And I think that, again, it is a direct, result of one not really understanding their identity and the power that they don't just have over themselves, but that you can have over somebody else. And so when I think of this state that cities like Philadelphia is in right now, with what the media has been very careful to put on the forefront, like black on black crime, right? And the poverty and just this mindset that many would call disruptive and destructive even. Do you feel that, because one of the things that, again, I love about Gut Check is it has such a preventative power. that it charges your thinking and affects your forethought, right? Do you think we are doing enough preventatively to touch the places that we see the chaos? We know where the noise is coming from. We have these tools, we have these gifts, we have these, abilities. Do you feel that we have, and we not excluding anybody, have done enough preventatively, or is that something that we need to go back and reconsider?
We have to help people shift. And I'll say this, there's two basic disruptions that disrupt people. There's a lack consciousness, right? And there's a consumption mindset. So a lack consciousness is focused on what I need, what I don't have, what I have to fight and scrape for. A consumption mindset is always wanting to be consuming, always wanting to be fed, always wanting to buy, but not being a producer. And so the way that you combat some of that noise that you're talking about is to help people shift from a lack consciousness to an abundance consciousness. I'm not thinking about what I need, but I'm thinking about what I can refill, what I can replenish. That is an outward directed mindset that affects people. We have to come away from the consumption mindset and get to the production mindset. Not what I can consume, but what can I produce, right? That gives life to others, that others can consume. One of my mottos is that the fruit of what you produce should be dripping down the chins of other people, so that they derive life, so that they derive power, so that they derive a sense of who they are. And when we focus outwardly, we can't help but have other people do the same. And then that noise starts to diminish. But it starts with not focusing on what we need, but focusing on what we can fill. It's not focusing on what we can consume, but focusing on what we can produce. And when you change those two things, at first, obviously there's more to do, but those are the first two steps that help create an environment in which people are flourished and where people begin to have hope again.
So this is just a minute portion of that wealth of wisdom and information that I'm talking about. But so when we think and consider those two needs, right? What would you say? Because in addition to being, as many of you know by now, those who are following us and those who know me personally, in addition to being the founder and director of LOAH and Light on a Hill Live, I'm an evangelist, right? And in addition to being the founder of Gut Check, Minister Rahman Carter, hence he is also a minister. And so I don't think it's coincidental that God would call us to a work in ministry, but also give us these tasks, these life assignments that create a platform where we are charged to touch the masses, right? And so the masses is not just made up of the church,
right?
It's not just made up of the Christian and of the believer, right? And so we are living in a time where, we have to have an effective sound for every ear that is listening, because regardless of what our different beliefs might be, we have to coexist together.
Right.
And, to get to where we need to go, to get to where we're going, it's going to require, a sense of coming together. And I believe, as a believer, that it's those times that God will draw. And but we gotta be in a place where we are relatable,
right,
and receivable, right? So if we're speaking to not just the church, I talk about all the time how as the church people, we are conditioned to offer what we would consider sound in some common terms, such as, oh, pray about it, or just believe God, or you have to have faith, but what do we say to the person who needs to hear? They need to sit at the table of gut check, right? They need the information, right? But they don't know about prayer. They don't go to church. They don't understand this thing called faith. They don't believe in God. What can we say to that ear that can be an effective sound? What are we saying to them right now?
Yeah, that's an important question. And in this time, Jesus addressed it. Jesus' main commandment was love.
Yes.
Right? That was his. That's the new covenant is based upon love. And also, Jesus talked a lot about occupying the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, in 2020, going into 2021, it's not what you say to the non-believer. It's what you show the non-believer. They need love and they need to see productivity. Mm. And what that means is, as a Christian man who loves Jesus and follows that commandment, it is my duty to love each and every person I meet, but also show productivity in my marriage, productivity in my fatherhood, productivity in my pocketbook and in the marketplace. And what happens is, when you show love and productivity, the unbeliever's interest is piqued. If an unbeliever has money but a bad marriage, and you show love in a successful marriage, and the witness says, how is your marriage good? Now I can lead them back to the covenant of Jesus. If a person has a great marriage, but their finances are wrong, and you show love and you have a great business prowess, then it's like, how have you gotten your business to such a level where you have financial freedom? Then I can point them back to the principles of the new covenant that talk about life and having life more abundantly. I can talk about occupying in the marketplace, doubling money, being given talents to double, and how even getting usury is good, but a person that buries their talents are somebody who's never going to succeed. And so people now, they want that. They want love and they want productivity. That's our witness now. You don't have permission to speak into the life of an unbeliever until you show love and until you show productivity in some area. If you're still working on your finances, what is your marriage like? What is your health like? You're going to affect those people, and you just grow in each area that you need to grow in until you reach a point where across the spectrum, your life shows an abundance in finances, marriage, relationship, parenting, and all those things. But you can affect the life where you are right now. Right?
Yes.
If you have a good parenting skills and your pocketbook ain't good, show love, show good parenting skills. There are people who want to know how to reach their children.
Yes.
And that will point them to the new covenant of Jesus Christ. And then you have permission to speak into their lives.
Wow. And that's key, because too often, we find ourselves being the audience of the voice that, on the surface, it presents as a sound, but when you don't see the fruit, when you don't see the evidence, when you don't see the productivity, then you begin to question the authenticity, right? And then it's easier to not believe than to believe, right? And somebody might say that it's the opposite. It's easier to, believe than to not believe. But as a man, and specifically a black man, in the world we live in, right? You are a father, you are a husband, you are, a minister, a teacher, an example. Every aspect of your life really requires you to give, right? Is some form of servitude, right? And yet, you have been consistent. Your fruit, your evidence shows that you have been authentic and that you have been consistent, and your life shows the progression. And I know that none of us have this perfect, problem-free world. It would be wonderful if we did, but we don't. And so, as a black man, in these specific times that we are living in, what is it that enables you to remain in that place where, I'm sure there are things that you contend with, but that you don't give into? What is it that enables you on a day-to-day basis to be able to do that?
Wow.
And still have something to give?
Wow. Yeah, that's a multi-layered question.
Yes.
But I think in essence what it is it's my responsibility to leave an inheritance for my children. Mm-hmm. And when we say inheritance, we always think about a financial inheritance.
Right.
But in this case, we're talking about a multifaceted inheritance. Yes, finances, but yes, mindset, strength. All of these things are important. And it's my responsibility to eschew mediocrity.
Yes.
A lot of problem with men, a lot of problem with Christian men especially, they might not like this, is that we have a privileged mindset. We believe in the Lord, we're going to pray, he's going to give it to us. But biblically, and if you look at the new covenant especially, that's not how it's set up.
Come on now.
It's set up that everything you put your hand to, he can bless. Occupy until I return. Be a doer of the word. Without works, faith is dead. And people think that just means a little bit of work. No, it means a lot of work. The writer of Ecclesiastes says that within a dream, to realize a dream, there's much activity. So if you're a man that's not doing much activity, what dream are you realizing? You've been endowed with the strength to complete the task you've been here to complete. I have an obligation to my wife. I have an obligation to my sons. I have an obligation to the Holy Spirit and Christ that lives within me to leave this planet empty. And the store of strength is there for me to do so as long as I continue that relationship. Now, if we have a non-believer that's listening, start with gratitude. Start with gratitude. Yeah. Be thankful for what you have. Be thankful for the things you do well, right? And start there. If we're talking to believers, man, get off your butt. It's time to go to work. Yeah. Seed time, harvest time, but when are you planting? People talk about seed time and harvest time, but that stuff gets planted, that stuff gets tended and weeded and watered, and there's a work that goes from planting to harvest. And that's the work that people aren't prepared to do. And that's the work that we as believers need to do. It goes back to that productivity. Yeah. Productivity and love.
So again, what it sounds like to me is, and I think what I'm seeing, I shared with someone that Corona gets blamed for a lot, but I don't think Corona has caused anything, in the way that it's been kind of getting blamed for. But I think that what Corona has done, it's exposed a lot. It's revealed a lot, and I think one of the things that Gut Check will continue to do is invoke and to provoke and compel the masses, and particularly men. There is something about your gift and what is on your life that is very compelling. And the thing that I love about it is it gives a hope. It says, this is attainable. You know what I mean? It is and that is one of my prayers for our men, and more specifically for our black men, but I mean for every man. Yeah. And so what I am going to just continue to do is just pray that God will continue to take Gut Check and stretch it to the four corners of the earth, and that it will touch every ear that it needs to, and the effect of it will continue to be the massive sound that it is. I can't wait to have you come back and really be able to dive in some more and talk about you know, the heart of a man and the issues of a man, and you know, because the world is full of some great men, you know, and more specifically some great black men, you know, and one of the things that I always say, you know, Minister Rahman, is that your situation really doesn't define you.
No.
You know what I mean? And so I believe that you have on your life assignment, you know, you are one of the effective sounds, one of the effective voices that is intended to charge the man.
Amen.
You know, and you are qualified to do it. And
Yes.
I'm honored to know, you know, to be able to sit down and I look forward to just watching the success and the progression of Gut Check. You know, I'm the mother of a black man. You know, I have a 31-year-old son, and he is the father of 3 boys who will become black men. And you yourself have three sons, you know. And so I would love to have you come back and just have some more dialogue where you can really continue to just pour in this information. This man is a well of information, and it's not just you know, information, you know, that you hear it resonates in the core of your being. And that's the kind of stuff that you want in your system, in your data bank, because that's the kind of stuff that changes lives. And at the end of the day, that's what this platform is about. That's what LOAH Light on a Hill and LOAH Live is about. That's what Gut Check is about. We are about being about our Father's business, and it's time out for, you know, the patty cake. It's time out for smoothing over these things that just keep continuing from generation to generation. It's time out for that. It's time to once and for all just become better. Become who we have from the very beginning been intended to be. And so that's what these platforms about. That's what this series is about, because there is a sound, an effective, life-changing, life-catapulting sound. And it is greater than all this noise. And so we're going to continue to come with these segments, with these phenomenal oracles who have this information, and we are going to get all that we can. And when we don't have no room for no more, we're going to create some room to get some more, because it just gets better and better and better. And Minister Rahman Carter is needed in the earth. His voice is needed in the earth. And there's so many others, yet so few, who you have, your whole life has been about, I feel like, this time that we live in. You know, this thing is for real. This thing is serious. And so we welcome you to revisit this segment. You can catch this segment on anchorfm.com, which is our podcast. And once you go to anchorfm.com, you'll have the option to watch the podcast on 6 other platforms. You can catch it on YouTube, not just this segment, but the first segment and the segments to come. You can catch it on Facebook. You can catch it on Instagram TV, on Twitter. We are just doing what we've been charged to do, because again, it's time out for sitting back and watching the life get sucked out of people. When we have information, we have resources, we have this, you know, the sound that will wake you up. And again, this is not just for the church, you know, and I'm okay if I get some church people that might get mad at me for saying that, but I'm gonna keep saying it, because it's not just for the church. God is the God of all, you know, whether you accept him or not, it'll catch up to you, you know. But we cannot just keep sitting and watching the crisis and watching these things happen and want to talk about it afterwards.
Right.
When we have things that we can do to be preventative. And so you can catch Gut Check. Man, bless your life, okay? You owe it to your life, okay, to catch Gut Check. And why don't you give us some information as to where they can do that?
Yeah, Gut Check is, Rahman Carter on Facebook, Gut Check AI on Instagram. We're rolling out the book launch shortly. Have a book, by the same name as the company. And just check me out. Rahman Carter on Facebook, Gut Check AI on Instagram, and Gut Check AI on YouTube. And, I'll leave you with this thought. Each and every one of us have desires. And desire is nothing more than the manifestation seeking expression. So the desire that's unique to you means that you have the requisite power to do so. Gut Check helps you tap into that wellspring of ability that is inside of you so that you can manifest your wildest and greatest dreams while serving and adding value at the same time.
So I want you to keep an eye out. We will have Minister Rahman Carter come back and give us some more segments, whether it's for this series and for some upcoming series and just some upcoming segments. And again, thank you for joining us. You can contact us via email, onelightonahill@gmail.com. If you want to reach out by telephone, you can do that by calling 484-463-7178. You can text or call. If you leave a message, whether it's by email or whether it's by phone or text, please leave your detailed information and we will get back to you as soon as we can. And we just want to encourage you, come back. This is not about what religion you are, what denomination you are, this is not about that. This is about us just talking. This is about us creating and releasing the effective sound so that we can be better and do better and live better because we deserve to. Because at the end of the day, purpose is not just what you do. It is not just what you have. It is who you are. Thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you again. God bless you.